Come in, friends. The door is open. Won't you sit down? No, not there. Sit by the fire. Let the bristling flames warm you. It is chilly in here, as if the cold air of death were in the room. The door is closed. The demons are ready. Clutch your chair. You are trapped in the Chamber of Chills.
All the stories we tell are true. We believe in ghosts. Do you?
Bad evening. Tonight's story is called Demon in the Alleyway, brought to you by The Bat. A little background on me. I was raised by emotionally unavailable parents who fought often. One evening, around midnight, when I was 10 years old sleeping in my bed, my mother and father were having a terrible fight. I heard them screaming at one another, then the smashing of glass, followed by the sound of what seemed to be someone receiving a smack to their face. My mother began to cry as she ran to the front door, where she exited, slamming the door violently behind her. Next, I heard the all-too-familiar heavy stomping approaching my bedroom. My father had beaten me before, with each consecutive beating delivered harder than the last. I jumped out of bed, quickly assembled my pillows and blankets to resemble a sleeping boy, and stealthily crawled outside through the window. Running away as fast as I could, I glanced over my shoulder and saw that my bedroom light had been turned on. I was scared, but glad to be safe from more abuse. As I roamed through my neighborhood, the sodium vapor lights offered me illumination and some comfort. The little town I lived in was generally safe, a beach community on the west side with hardly any crime, and inhabited by mostly middle class, with the exception of one neighborhood which was being developed to suit the rich. And that's where I was going. I had a friend named Josh who lived there. He and I secretly shared a mini bike, one of those small motorcycles made for kids, powered by a lawnmower engine. I was going to pick up the mini bike and go for a ride. When I arrived at Josh's, I tiptoed alongside of his house to the bush where he stashed the mini bike. I quietly wheeled the mini bike onto the street, where I pushed it around the corner to an alleyway which was the last standing remnant of the old neighborhood. All the houses of this alleyway were being torn down, so there was nobody living there. I loved riding this mini bike down this alleyway because it was a long stretch of uninterrupted road where I could gun it at full throttle. I pulled the starter rope 2 or 3 times, and the lawnmower engine fired up. I mounted the mini bike and pulled off into the night. Riding, with my long auburn hair flowing in the wind, I felt empowered and free. That is, until the motor spat, then coughed, and ran out of gas. Damn Josh. With all his family's money, he'd never filled the gas tank. I was always the one to refill it. And now I was stuck. I sighed, dismounted the mini bike, and began to push it back toward Josh's house. Suddenly, I heard a loud smashing sound, crunching metal and shattering glass. I whipped my head around and discovered 2 pinpoints of light behind me coming in fast. I didn't know what to do. I was trapped in the middle of the long alleyway, walled in, leaning that heavy mini bike against my hip. I broke out of my stupor. I looked up at the top of the alleyway's tall concrete walls. 8 feet. There was no way I could scale 8 feet. Then an idea hit me. I could lean the mini bike against the wall, step up on it, and jump for my life. And so I propped the mini bike against the wall, stepped clumsily onto the seat, steadied myself as I prepared to jump, checked the coast for clear. It was too late. A large station wagon had maneuvered to my side of the alleyway and begun to grind its fenders against the concrete wall. Red-hot sparks and plastic shards of yellow reflectors were flying everywhere. The thrashing sounds were deafening. That thing looked like a hearse coming for me at 50 miles per hour. I froze. I pinned my back helplessly against the wall. Then, the sound of shredding steel was replaced by 4 skidding tires. I opened one eye, then the other, and beheld the image of a half-demolished metal beast smoking as it idled not 5 feet before me. And the driver, a man if you could call him that, staring at me from behind a cracked windshield with black eyes that reflected no light and shone no soul. He was emaciated and hunched as he clutched the steering wheel with white knuckles. He panted like a dog, revealing pointed teeth. The Santa Ana winds picked up, eerily blowing his thin, stringy hair. Oh my God, he looked like a reanimated corpse. With no exit, I prayed to God to save my soul. It was at this moment that the station wagon limped slowly past me, and once clear, proceeded to accelerate again, crashing against the alleyway's concrete walls. Seeing my chance for life, I leaped off of the seat of the minibike onto the top of the wall and scaled it. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of the telephone ringing. Was last night all a dream? I felt rested. I checked myself for scrapes and bruises, but had none. I stepped out of bed and immediately collapsed from the weight I'd placed on a now seemingly sprained left ankle. I limped to the phone and answered it. "Hello?" I said. "Hey, it's Josh. Where's the minibike?"